Warning: the following podcast contains violent scenes that may be unsettling to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
People of Parvati develop a bumpy growth on their foreheads. Shortly thereafter, they disappear. Rumor has it that a Titan virus is spreading and the aerostat is locked down. Join Pablo Jimenez, played by Mitch, on his search for the missing Duala Chatterjee in this Eclipse Phase 1 shot called Bump in the Night, run by Tillman. Please follow Twin Cities by Night on social media and join our Discord chat. If you'd like to support us financially, you can do so on Patreon. Enjoy. Welcome to Eclipse Phase Bump in the Night. I converted this to a duet story, and I'm playing with Mitch today. Mitch, why don't you just jump right in and introduce us to your character?
Oh, goody. So the character is Pablo Jimenez. He is a hired thug / bodyguard who will be wearing a female fury morph for this particular adventure. Not exactly the most pleasant of people. He's a scum-born private security specialist. Does a lot of work in the inner system, doing the dirty work for the glitterati, various media icons, etc. And he just got a job on Venus at the aerostat Parvati, which specializes in the erotic entertainment business, which might explain the female morph.
Oh, geez, I hope not.
Well, security has to fit in. It's better if they're pretty. So beyond that, I don't know much. So we're just sort of jumping in on this one.
Precisely. You are ego casting into Venus, meaning you just send your self or mind digitally, hoping that all the sleeving is done professionally, of course. You living among the scum, this is probably a fairly normal thing for you, but still the feeling isn't all that pleasant. There's always this moment where you're basically unconscious for a couple of hours and then wake up in a new body in a completely new set of surroundings. And again, you come to your senses. You notice you're on a bed or, comfortable bench at least.
Well, that's good.
Your vision is still very unfocused. Basically, you haven't adjusted to the light. Everything around you is very white. You feel something like paper or a very paper-thin gown, at least, on your body. A protective cover of sorts for biomorphs. You feel really, really heavy. At first, you are kind of alarmed. Oh, God, what kind of enormous overweight morph have they given me? But as you come to your senses, you're reminded, oh yeah, this is Venus. Gravity is much, much higher than what you're probably used to from other places. You just feel really heavy set.
All right, I'll start out by stretching in bed while laying down, stretching legs, arms, shoulders, just sort of getting a feel for the morph that I'm in. Maybe turn my head to the left, to the right. Not really looking for anything. In fact, I'll close my eyes and just feel how the muscles are arranged, how they stretch. Has this morph been properly taken care of, or has it been in storage for a while? Make sure that all the big things work properly.
Yeah, give me a 3 times somatics check. This should be extremely easy for you because your skill roll is against a value of 100.
60.
That's I think, a superior success, in fact.
Oh, excellent.
So you adapt well. This morph is properly taken care of. You were a bit worried because you were told, yeah, it's used, but it doesn't seem to have affected it negatively. You hear a voice in the room that you're in. I see you have come to your senses. Is everything feeling all right?
For the most part, I can't quite see yet, but all the joints seem to be working.
My bad, actually. Proper protocol is I should have adjusted the lights. I've done so now. You can open your eyes now with less of a shock. My bad.
I'll open my eyes and try to look and see who's speaking.
You see a technician of sorts. probably a really low-class worker, just about above a mining worker. You realize this person is in a pod morph of roughly male appearance, but really, really basic. The morph, while it has like biological skin and features and isn't completely synthetic, it lacks any kind of hair. So this person is completely bald, no facial hair either. Eyebrows seem to be like drawn on or something like that, basically just to make the facial expression more vivid. But again, the eyes are extremely fake appearing. It's obviously just a piece of glass. The iris is like this bright blue, and it just doesn't reflect light the way a normal biomorph should.
I'll take a deep breath and sit up. And at this point, Pablo will notice that he's a little top heavy. He'll look down, and then he'll look at the tech. Well, I wasn't expecting this. Any particular reason you've got me sleeved in a woman?
The person in front of you has an uncomfortable look on their face. I'm not sure, sir or ma'am. I'm only following orders, really. Your morph was purchased by Duala Chatterjee, who is a resident here. I must defer to her decision-making. I'm very sorry if something got mixed up, but I don't think it was on my end.
Fine, whatever. Can I get some clothes?
Yes, of course. There's a set of smart clothing in this cupboard. He points to a small shelf on the side. I will give you privacy, of course. Just one last thing before I leave you. We have kind of a situation here right now on Parvati. You are actually one of the last people who were allowed to ego cast in and sleeve. Also, biomorph are currently under some scrutiny. It appears, well, rumor has it, we have a Titan nano plague around. You should be able to find all the details on your newsfeed. The important part being the aerostat is unfortunately under lockdown right now. You can't come in, you can't leave. No ego casting, no ships to other aerostats.
All right, yeah, thanks for the heads up. Did your boss or whoever bought this, did they leave any equipment for me besides the clothes?
One thing, yes. I'm supposed to send you this message, and you get like an email notification.
All right, I'll poke my muse. What's this about then?
Yeah, it's an email by Duala Chatterjee welcoming you to Parvati. She apologizes for the wrong gender, but unfortunately, supplies weren't that good. She has provided you with an apartment to stay in and sends you like a digital key and points out that all the gear that you have specified for your work has been arranged to be there upon arrival.
Okay.
She also says that you have one free, afternoon, basically. She will get in contact with you the next day.
All right, let's take this meat suit for a spin. I'll get dressed, and I'll poke my muse and have it feed me current news from the aerostat, along with news from the previous week in sort of a, digest form. And then I will hop out, get dressed, take care of whatever paperwork or other administrative details are necessary to get out of the clinic or whatever I'm in.
Yeah, the morph was paid for. You get like a notification from the front desk AI. You have to sign some bullshit about return policy and don't break this morph, yada, yada, yada.
Confirmation of receipt.
Yeah, probably your muse just auto accepts everything because you have no option anyway.
Yeah, just digital sign it all, whatever. And then I will step out of the clinic and see where I'm at.
Give me a 3 times willpower for how you adapt to your new situation. Like the morph, you succeeded, but just taking in everything that has happened so far with the resleeving, what this technician told you about being on lockdown, that doesn't sound too great. You're now in the erotic capital and can't leave.
Yeah. Nothing like a exsurgent virus in the erotic capital. Ah, that's an 87. Well above my 45.
Oh yeah. You're stressing out a little bit. Give me 1d10 to see how much you're stressing out.
5.
All right, on your sheet you have a score for lucidity, and under that you have stress taken, so you accumulate stress over time. You have 5 now, but it's not reaching your tramuma threshold, as it's called on the sheet, because there's a typo. So you're good for now, but you're not too happy about the whole situation.
Good. I want to avoid as much mental tramuma as I can.
Of course.
All right, so freaking out a little bit, I'll head to the nearest a social gathering point, marketplace, mall, food hall, food court, whatever the station has, and I'll take in the general demeanor of everyone. And while I do that, I'll have my muse pull up directions to my quarters, because I think I might spend half the afternoon wandering manually and then the other half wandering with some assistance.
Yeah, you're really feeling would be a good time to have a drink or something like that. So you leave the facility, step out, and you quickly find your way to like the main tourist attractions. Parvati, of course, is mainly in the tourist and entertainment business, and you're just assaulted with the scenery. It's actually quite a nice place in terms of construction. You have like one central walkway. In the very center of it, there is a strip, basically a glass window, through which you can see the Venusian atmosphere below, basically raging yellow clouds. The pavement is this grayish tile. There's several like buckets of plants and flowers, seating, and just lots of space to, well, walk about, enjoy whatever is around. Of course, whatever is around is basically a red light district. You have several strip clubs, brothels of all kinds. You are just assaulted with augmented reality advertisement. And that alone, in some of the more conservative places, these ads could probably get you arrested. Among the worst that you see is like neotenic peep shows and uplift, prostitution and pornography and whatnot.
Yeah, no thanks. How busy is it, considering that there's a possible plague?
Really kind of dead.
Okay.
You see what you assume are basically like workers in like synth morphs, maybe. You see some frustrated club owners or security personnel. They were expecting like big shows tonight, but nothing's happening. Everyone on the street seems to be there with a purpose. You don't see anyone like leisurely strolling around. All the tourist attractions are vacant.
Okay. I'm going to find the nearest bar and I'll order a drink. Is the bartender a morph of some time, or is it an AI?
You can probably find several options. I would assume there are several like to-go bars with mixing AIs.
I'd rather go for
fact,
a morph, a person of some type.
So you want the old school bar experience?
Yes.
Yeah, that should be available as well. You have like a hole-in-the-wall bar that looks to be the right type. You don't need to enter some sort of building. You're just there at a counter and can order something, then sit down around the area.
Okay. I'll sit at the counter. I'll order, and then while the bartender's handing me my beverage, which will make it a whiskey. So I just got hired, and I just got here today. What's going on? Why is this place so dead?
Geez, you got here today? Well, at least it's not holiday, I guess.
Yeah, like an hour ago.
Well, damned if I know, really. Like, the newsfeed is just cluttered with things. Apparently, the whole station is on lockdown, but I don't really know why. There's this Titan nanoplague rumor, which spreads like wildfire. I hope it's not true.
Who around might I talk to for something that might not be on the mesh?
Geez, I don't know. I know there's some sort of police investigation for missing person cases. Like a dozen or so people have gone missing. And there's rumors that they developed this kind of, I don't know, rash of sorts before they went missing. And now people say it's the plague.
That's irritating. Okay. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. And I'll slam the drink and head out.
How do you pay? Now we can say you have some sort of bank account with like money
Considering
to get you over.
Yeah, considering what I do, I'm sure I've got some sort of account that I can use to just transfer the funds over. So, yeah, I'll pay and I'll head back out, and then I'll make my way to the quarters that I've been provided with. As I'm on my way to the quarters, I'm going to look up, or rather have my muse dig up all the information it can on Miss Chatterjee. Tell me more about my hostess.
So Duala Chatterjee is like a rising star on the scene here in terms of being, well, a socialite. She's apparently an organizer of various kinds of art movements and construction and whatnot. And there's a lot of political interest, of course, that goes into that as well. Parvati is interesting because it's relatively independent even from the other aerostats on Venus. And of course, it's independent of the planetary consortium. And recently, people in her scene have received or have been targeted by basically directed online hate mobs, spreading all kinds of false rumors, at least to her account. And she's been very worried recently that her or someone in her circles is going to be attacked. You know, there's always this worry someone's going to wreck my morph and then steal my ego. What do I do then? So she hired you on for like private security. And one of the big things that drew her to you was that you are independent, coming from a scum swarm. You're not held back by rules and regulations like direct action, private security. And you're probably not part of the Parvati political system. You have no interest in this capitalist society other than getting by.
Are there any files or documentation that she's provided me upon my arrival that detailing the kind of issues that she's been facing? Any threats that I can review or anything of that nature?
I don't think you have any like details about what she wants you to do right now. Basically, what you have is she's going to meet me tomorrow and we'll talk things out. You just have a general description of what has happened and that she wants private security to accompany her when she's out and about. Your muse alerts you, has collected all kinds of news articles and the report from the police that has been brought up by the bartender to you. You get some pictures from like bloggers who have seen what the bartender described as a rash. It doesn't really quite fit what you're seeing. There are like biomorphs of various designs, and they all have developed like a bubbly, bumpy growth on their foreheads, especially.
And
that's
appealing.
You find a list of missing people with pictures of their latest morphs, and among them, unfortunately, appears to be Duala Chatterjee.
Oh, excellent. Great. All right, I'll go back to the quarters, or I'll go to the quarters that I've been provided with, and I'll give them a quick once-over.
It's a really small, modest apartment. It's not too far away from the tourist attractions, so you think it's probably meant for tourists mainly. You have all the bare essentials for a biomorph. So you have like a bathroom, a private one, which is a luxury. You have a small bed. Your gear is laid out on the bed. You find, as per your requirements, You get a concealable small pistol, your armor vest, a pair of flex cutters, and your shredder flechette gun for, well, the worst situations. Unfortunately, not very concealable. But yeah, if push comes to shove, it is probably the best option. You find that these were Gorgon defense guns, probably, put on the civilian markets after heavy use. Not really what you specified, but it should do.
Yeah, I'll give the flechette gun a good once-over while I check out the rest of the equipment. And I'll take a quick look at the nano swarms that I requested, make sure everything's in order with them.
That's true. You requested Scout and I think Cleaner Swarm.
Yes.
Those look, of course, to be brand new. The guns don't. The magazine on the flechette gun is mismatched. Like it's a different manufacturer. But it really shouldn't matter, you think?
As long as it still fits, I suppose.
Yeah. Looks battle-worn, but who cares?
Okay. I am going to contact... Once I get everything squared away with my equipment, get the armor on, I'm going to contact the local police.
What do you want to say to them? Probably the first instance is like a emergency AI of sorts.
Yeah, this is not an emergency. I've been hired by Duala Chatterjee. I've just arrived on the station, and I'm just becoming aware that she's listed as a missing person. Is there anything that you can tell me about the situation?
You're basically put on hold for an officer to respond. But it doesn't take long. You're just staring about at your room. You also have a little fabricator on a desk-sized one for food.
Okay.
And all that. But yeah, you get a phone call, essentially, with Police Chief Jaden Smith.
Wasn't expecting the chief.
All right, this Chief Smith speaking. You contacted us about Duala. What's your name and your business with them exactly?
My name is Pablo Jimenez. Miss Chatterjee hired me, and I just cast in maybe a couple hours ago, and now she's a missing person. What's going on here? Do I still have a job?
Well, it appears you unfortunately came in probably a little late. Yes, we have several missing person cases right now. Are any other names on the list familiar to you, or just Duala Chatterjee?
Just Miss Chatterjee. I just cast into the station.
Okay. You said you work in security?
No, I didn't. But yes, I do.
Yeah, you didn't say that. Yeah, I looked you up. My muse has some details. Yeah, okay, fine. I can offer you maybe something along those lines. I don't think you're going to be working for Duala right now, but maybe you can help me find out what's going on. That should be along the lines of what you're here for, right?
I'd be happy to. I mean, I do want to get paid. Does she have a subordinate or like a right-hand person that I can reach out to that you guys know of? Executive assistant?
Well, we've already been in contact with her company, and they don't seem to really know anything. And I'm not aware of any private contacts right now that know more. I have one lead, and my thinking is maybe it's a good idea if you go there first before I send in my officers, because that usually, makes people think that something's going on and they don't want to talk to me.
Yes. So I get shot first. Got it.
That's the plan. All right, so we've been tracing back the biomorphs that have gone missing already because of the weird growth they all show. That's also a common trait, and the people believe it's a nanoplague. Right now, I don't have any evidence to suggest that because it doesn't seem to be spreading, but that could be an unfortunate mistake I'm making right now. I really don't know. But they have one common thing. They all came from the same, morph brokering facility, if you want. They all arrived at the same warehouse. I'm not sure.
What's the name of that facility?
Daikan Enterprises.
Is that the same one I came in on?
No.
Okay, good.
This facility is for bringing in biomorphs or morphs in general from other places. It maybe does sleeving, but there are also like specialized sleeving clinics like the one you came from right now.
Okay. So, anything else you can tell me?
Yeah, we've determined that there are like 3 people working in the warehouse. I can provide you with names and like my feelings on them. First, we have one Landon Marcus. He does security for them. I think if you want to see the facility, you will have to talk to him no matter what. And then there are like 2 actual workers. One, Helen Alvarez. Nothing really shows up on her. I think she just goes to work and then goes back home. Maybe she's some sort of video game addict. I really don't know. They're just, you wouldn't even think, they're just lots of people here and probably everywhere else who just gave up on real life and escape into virtual reality. The last guy is Dario Silvestri. He has a gambling habit. That's about all I know right now.
All right, well, I'm going to be needing to get in touch with Miss Chatterjee's company anyways, just to make sure that I still have some sort of income while I'm here. Which of your officers have been assigned to the case?
It's a high priority case, so yeah, everyone available. I'm not sure why you would want the private details about them.
Well, if there's a lead detective or investigator, it might be good if I were able to coordinate with them.
Well, I'm handling it personally, so reach out to me if you have updates.
Will do. Thank you, Chief. And I will be in touch if I have any other questions, concerns, or issues.
Excellent.
And I'll terminate the call. I'll sit on the bed. Oh my God. Fucking incompetent locals. All right, then I will go to the door, and from the door I will send out my scout swarm to basically scout the entire aerostat, or as much of it as it can, while I go over to Daikon's nearest office.
I would say that's a bit large of an area.
Okay.
I think you would be better off like reserving it for like a single room maybe, or like one building.
I was going to let it work for a few hours while I sleep and get into tomorrow and then download whatever it finds in the morning. So yeah, I don't expect it to cover the entire aerostat, but if I get it to maybe map out public areas and the ventilation system for me.
Maybe you can just tell your muse to do some research for you, because the layout of the place doesn't change.
I'm not worried about the layout so much as I am about things that don't appear on the official documentation. Like, yes, the vents are here, but the homeless guy living in that vent isn't necessarily on the publicly available maps.
The thing is, it's consumable, so it's
shit, I didn't realize it was consumable.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get you to like hold off on it.
Yeah, if it's consumable, then I will save it.
Okay. We can still say your muse does some
I'll have
research.
my muse do the research, and then...
You want to call it a day? I would say it's like late afternoon.
No, first, before I call it a day, I'll go over to the closest Daikon office.
Yeah, that's something you could research. You find they have one facility here, and it's quite far away. It's like on the edge of the aerostat. You're currently fairly central and on the very edge where like ships could come in and deliver goods to the place. There's probably several warehouses, and one of them belongs to Daikon.
Okay, how long would it take me to get there?
A few hours, probably. Depends on how you would want to go.
I'll wait till the morning.
Walking is probably a bad option.
Yeah, I get the impression that I'd be cutting it close.
Yeah, rent a bike, maybe. This has fairly narrow ways. There's some traffic for like delivering goods, etc., but it's not really for private people, I think.
Do they have like public trams to get around?
Yeah, likely for the workers and so on.
Okay. Then what I'll do is I'll call it a night. I'll go over my equipment once more. I'll give the flechette gun a good cleaning, make sure it's in proper working condition. Same thing for the holdout pistol. I'll make sure the hand laser is fully charged. I'll make good use of the fabricator. Have a dinner. Yeah, then I'll turn in.
The night passes pretty much uneventful for you. Your muse is hard at work and updates you with information on a map. It has deduced some common places where the three people that you probably want to look for are located. Landon Marcus shows up when he's not at work, of course. He shows up in a Roman wrestling ring of sorts. The club is called the Bottomless Pit. Dario Silvestri does in fact seem to spend a lot of time in one specific casino called the Salo 120. And Helen Alvarez seems to spend most of her time in like an outskirts apartment complex. Your muse has also reached out to like Duala Chatterjee and representatives. You had essentially already signed your contract, and with the assurance that you are looking into finding Duala and you have made arrangements to help out on the case, people are fairly happy and money should flow.
Okay, good. So the Bottomless Pit, how much of that name is innuendo, considering where I am?
You can find out.
I don't know if I want to.
Yeah, you can probably like look up pictures of the place online. And you see the main entrance is a fanged vulva.
All right, then.
Which is pretty much normal facade for Parvati.
Yeah, this place is just hypersexualized.
You got to stand out amongst all the other crazy people.
I'm terrified to ask what the fast food restaurants are like. The first thing, and then I'll try to track down Miss Alvarez the next morning. She seems like the most normal person I can talk to at the moment.
How do you want to approach that?
I think first thing, I'll give her a call, see if she answers.
Good idea. Yeah, you can probably like reach her over the mesh. So after a little while, she picks up. Hello, who is this?
Miss Alvarez, my name is Pablo Jimenez. I am a recent contract employee of Miss Chatterjee's. It's my understanding that she has gone missing, and I am currently assisting in the search to find her. I was wondering if you'd be willing to sit down and chat with me for a few minutes about this.
Who is Miss Chatterjee?
One of your employers.
Oh, okay.
Daikon?
Yeah, I work there.
You seem confused.
I'm very worried about the nano plague.
Well, I just cast in yesterday, so I'm not too up on the nano plague, but I'm very strongly of the position that I don't have it.
Okay, but why do you want to talk to me?
Well, your name came up as an employee, and you seem very bothered by something, so I'm wondering if we could maybe sit down and discuss what it is.
I didn't do anything wrong. I mean, you have no reason to talk to me.
Well, if you insist, then have a good day, man.
Yeah, she probably has like hung up before you even like finish the sentence.
Yeah, I'm totally going to her apartment now.
Yeah. Yeah, she seemed, even though you had like voice only and it was like fabricated voice by your muse to reflect what came over the mesh. Yeah, you're definitely getting those vibes. She has something to hide.
Oh, yeah. So I'll take the tram or whatever public transportation is available until I can get reasonably close to her address, and then I'll go the rest of the way on foot.
Yeah, you take public transport. Again, streets are fairly empty, but once you enter like the public transport area, you find there are actually quite a few probably workers about, especially you think like cleaning personnel. It's still quite early in the morning and they're probably returning home. And in fact, maybe many seem to be headed in the same direction as you, away from all the tourist attractions, the colorful and, well, also very nice and open atmosphere of this main pathway like subsides. and you're getting into like the back area. You see the back of all the clubs, and then slowly you get into like a residential area, lower class, and really the buildings take on a more like functional, maybe brutalist appearance. Everything's like slabs of concrete. Windows are sparse. It's just all very gray and just seems like people had the idea, okay, there's space here, let's put on apartments for workers.
Okay. As I go, I'm going to have my muse look up everything it can on Helen. You know, what was she educated in? What was she doing at Daikon? Her official role? Does she have any side businesses? All the details I can get on her. Has she ever been arrested? And if so, then for what?
You really can't find much. She appears to be, as Jaden already alluded to, when she's not at work, she's sitting at home. You can manage to find like some pictures, probably from like Daikon themselves, of their employees. And she appears to be in this older model synth morph. Some of the newer ones actually have like human features. You know, people try to give them like an exoskeleton that approximates a human body so they don't stand out so much. But this older model is, again, very functional. Yeah, but also you don't really find any mention of her on like video game stat pages or something like that, which probably doesn't mean much. You could still just sit at home and enjoy like experience playback or whatever, and escape into fantasy worlds, but you don't know.
Yeah, sounds like something shady is going on there. So, okay. When I get to her apartment, I'm not going to dance around the bush. I'll just go up, knock on the door, or hit the doorbell or whatever, and wait.
The house you enter is just one of many of these gray buildings. They all essentially look much the same. You're getting strong like prison vibes, especially not like coming from this area, coming from like a scum swarm, which, everyone makes a mark on the swarm. Everything is extremely personalized, even to a fault. This one really just seems like
urban hellscape.
Yeah, exactly. Eventually you find the door to her apartment. Really, probably apartment is the wrong word. It's like a single room. You're tempted to call it a cell.
Or cell, yeah. So I'll knock.
There's no response.
I'll knock again.
You think you hear movement inside, but the door doesn't open.
I'll look up and down the hallway, get a sense of the security sensors in the hallway.
Well, if there is security, it's probably of the like VHS video kind,
I'll look at her door. What's keeping it closed?
A lot of hope and goodwill.
I'll just kick it in then.
With your somatic skill, you lean against it hard, and essentially the plastic gives way. It just bends out of the lock. Maybe the metal bends a little bit as well. And you bust in with basically no effort into an extremely tiny room. The door slams against a wall. In front of you, basically frozen in place, you see the synth morph that you had a picture of earlier. Since it's a robot and really doesn't emulate any human features, you have a hard time really telling what's going on with that person right now, but you're assuming Helen is scared shitless. She is surrounded by a mess of machinery. You're pretty sure this is an ego bridge of sorts.
An ego bridge?
A device to upload and download egos into morphs. And looking around, yeah, maybe that's a Farcaster.
So, Miss Alvarez, aside from possible violations of the current lockdown, I'd like to discuss your employer with you.
Who are you?
We spoke earlier on the phone. I knocked politely, but you pretended not to be home, so I let myself in.
This is not right. You can't do that.
I just did.
The robot starts to move some stuff around that is lying about. It's very direct movement. You don't get any frantic vibes from a robot, but yeah, you can read the situation.
Miss Alvarez, please sit down. I just want to talk to you. I am prepared to get violent, more violent if necessary, and with that I'll turn on my hand laser a little bit. And I assure you I am far more capable of violence than you are.
The robot basically just freezes in place, but then it like raises its hands in like this defensive motion, no longer touches any of the things on the floor.
Thank you. Now, your boss seems to have disappeared. What can you tell me about this?
I don't know anything about it.
Then what can you tell me about this nanoplague?
Again, I don't know anything about it.
Okay, then what can you tell me about all of this equipment that you probably shouldn't have?
It's not mine.
Yes, everyone says that.
No, really, I mean it. I operate it, yes, but it's not mine.
Whose is it?
I can't tell you?
I will happily hold you here until the police arrive.
No, just please no police.
Or you can tell me what I want to know, and I can leave without telling the police anything.
You can't tell anyone. You don't know what they do to me.
That depends on what you tell me. So I suggest you start speaking.
I operate a dark cast for Lam Kong Dong.
And they are?
I'm not sure. That's why I don't have anything on them. I think they're either Nine Lives or the ID crew, but I don't know. I don't know much about criminals, and I can't look it up if they find me stepping out of line.
Okay. And why do you do this for them?
I have no choice.
Why do you have no choice?
They got my family, I think.
You think?
Well, they keep giving me, keep sending me experience playback of myself and of my family, and they do terrible things.
Okay. Where's your family located?
I don't know. They have them somewhere.
Somewhere in the aerostat? Somewhere in the inner system? Somewhere in the solar system? Somewhere in the galaxy?
Yes.
Pick the smallest out of those that I just listed.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's on here. That they have put me here. I think I'm just a fork. They have put me here basically under with a twisted indenture contract, if you want. You can tell even without like facial features, she's getting kind of frustrated.
Okay.
Just by the speed of her voice. And she explains, okay, look, they put me here with these promises. I can work myself to freedom. I keep this facility here running. I have a job to pay the bills and, not draw attention to myself. And then eventually I'm a free person and I can get my family back.
Okay, aside from the fact that that's all probably bullshit, how do you get the morphs in and out of this little space without anyone noticing?
Well, with luck.
With luck? Who brings them here?
Just delivery people. I think people like me whose hands are basically forced.
When was the last time you had someone cast in?
A little while ago, actually. Maybe like 2 weeks or so.
And how does their arrival, line up with this nanoplague?
I honestly don't know.
Well, did the nanoplague make the news before or after they arrived?
Oh, well after. It's only been like 2 days.
Any idea where the morphs come from or where they go?
I mean, the morphs come from Daikan. Well, I get them hidden among other arrivals. If it's several dozen, it doesn't draw too much attention.
And none of your neighbors have commented on the fact that you receive morph-sized packages every now and then?
I don't think they want to ask questions.
Okay.
We here in this area, we don't really ask questions or bring
Why is that?
The police. Well, I mean, police is a wrong term, really. Before they were just called Taurus Defense, they are basically a private company. They reflect the interests of the higher-ups of Parvati, and If something here is against their interest, honestly, why should anyone in my position tell?
Interesting. Well, Miss Alvarez, I'll expect that you're not going to go running off, especially since you need to be here to operate all of this lovely machinery. I may come pay you a visit. If there's anything that you think I should know now, I suggest you tell me, because if I find something out that you should have told me now, my next visit might be an unpleasant one.
Okay, I really don't know what's happening right now with the missing people and the nanoplag. I assure you that.
But
In turn, please assure me that you cannot tell the police. It would reflect extremely badly on me, of course, but I don't think you want to mess with Lam Kondong. I mean it.
duly noted, thank you. And sorry about your door.
If a robot could roll its eyes, it would.
I'll send over some duct tape for you.
No need. I got a Faber, and I'm pretty good with fixing mechanical things, and the robot like moves all its squeaky old joints. You can tell it's probably been overhauled and fixed for like decades.
How long have you been at this for Mr. Dong, by the way?
Lam Kondong is kind of new, but yeah, it's been a couple of years.
And you know the name of the organization?
I told you, I don't. I know that they're into ego trafficking, which leads me to believe it's the ID crew or 9 Lives. But those are just the big names.
All right.
For all I know, it could be some Martian triad.
Well, we're a long way from Mars. All right, well, thank you, Miss Alvarez. Hopefully I won't see you again. And with that, I will leave.
The door basically just flops around. You can't really close it anymore.
I don't even try to close it. And I think, what time is it at this point?
Well, you had the train ride, but I don't think it was too long. So maybe like getting towards noon-ish.
All right, let's go to a casino.
The complex setting of Eclipse Phase can be overwhelming if you're new to it, but we feel that it's worth it. Check out our podcasts for the games Better on the Inside, Grinder, and Body Count if you're an aspiring EP game master.